I thought was a compliment because he is hot in that movie.
Oh, no.
I'm not into dudes. If you're into dudes, good for you. But I'm like, dude, that's a good looking man right there. Welcome once again to Chill Filters, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. And turns out you probably are. And that's why we like you. Hey, you've all been waiting. Who is the new co-host? And he turns out he is in this room with us today. If you're joining on the podcast version, maybe you don't know by now, but maybe you read some of the description or something like that. But Bryan Rapp is our new co-host. So welcome him. Maybe you could even send us a message on Chill Filters Instagram and say, hey, welcome, Bryan. Good to have you. Bryan got a lot of great feedback on the surveys and a lot of great feedback from my independent research. And I'm happy to have him today and happy to call him co-host officially. So, Bryan, what say you?
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. I mean, it's an honor. Just doing the demo episode was an honor, and now getting to be here for real. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. I love doing this. I'm gonna love doing this with you and Ben, Mark, and Bryce. You guys were awesome, and I know really happy that we know who to turn to when we need a little backup co-host action in a future episode or something. So I think this was all super fun, and I think it all went really well. And I appreciate you taking a chance on me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I want to know more about this independent research, though. Did you do a background check on me or something?
Yes. No, the credit score first, but
yeah, of course.
Turns out you're okay.
Yeah.
Turns out it's like high 900s. So yeah, no, that was just asking around and getting because like not everyone filled out a survey, so happy to reach out to some trusted peeps and get their opinion as well. What in the world is in my glass?
Water?
I don't know what that. No, maybe it's condensation. I don't know. That's not even condensation. I don't know what's on my glass, but it's white looking.
Asbestos.
Yeah, it's probably asbestos. Well, you know what the funny thing was? I was pouring water into it, and there was like a piece of styrofoam as I was pouring. No one cares about what I'm saying right now, but like, I don't know. That was weird. I don't know. It tastes fine. So,
what's going on in your home?
So here's the business. Check us out on Instagram, and if you're not already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hey, here's the thing. Not most of our listeners, most of our followers are not watching us on YouTube. I could tell that just by the amount of views and stuff we see versus the listens we see. But if you have a YouTube account, please do us a huge favor and at least subscribe to us on YouTube. That would be a great way to support us if you haven't already. And that's the business for today. Here's the podcast. Hey, we got a new co-host today, and his name's Bryan. Sorry, I missed the business in the beginning, but I felt like the business was at hand was to introduce Bryan.
Fair.
But Bryan, tell me about how things are for you.
Yeah, things are good. This past weekend was Halloween. So that was a lot of fun. I figured you'd have some cute kid costume pics or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we did. Well, I was thinking about this earlier. Before I talk about my kids, are you the type, like you and Sam, are you the type to like go all out or like do costume parties or like put out nice candy or something? Are you big into Halloween?
So I am big into Halloween, like emotionally for myself. Nice. Halloween, I think Thanksgiving's number one because I love cooking too. So I love all the preparing and I love eating and all that comes with it. But like Halloween, Christmas, they're kind of tied for me. I mean,
really,
I do. Of course, I love Christmas too, but just the theme of Halloween and the pumpkins and witches and woodsy leaves falling, like I'm like all about all that. Now we don't really put in the effort over here to like decorate outside. We don't put stuff in our front yard and stuff, but I do have like Philips Hue lights out in the front yard, like the outdoor ones. So I changed them orange or something, purple and orange and stuff, and so it looked a little festive at least. But yeah, we do get costumes, and this year Sam wanted to be Prince Eric and Ariel.
Oh, nice.
So I was Ariel and Sam. No, okay.
Yeah. So I've donned the
Yeah,
red
yeah.
hair and
Got my mermaid tail on, and
yeah,
so
exactly.
so
I saw
anyway,
the
we.
opposite this week. I saw King Triton played by a girl.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because they had a whole crew, and the little girl was Ariel,
yeah,
but like everyone else was women. So they're like, all right, we got to do someone's got to do King Triton. So
yeah. Queen Triton, I dig it. I
yeah,
dig
exactly,
it.
with a beard.
Yeah, but yeah, we definitely get candy, and we post
Nice.
up in the driveway and hand it out to kids and everything.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
yeah, had fun with that. And what about you guys though? Did you go door to door? What do you do?
We did. We're in a. I got probably a half-acre lot for our house here. So like when every house has at least a half-acre lot, it's a lot to walk for a 2-year-old. So we decided to go across the street, basically across the neighborhood, to where some of the houses are a lot closer, and where there's a lot more kids. We're also in a neighborhood that's like probably the average age is in the 50s or something like that. Maybe if you remove kids from the picture, it's probably that.
Yeah,
But there are some kids here and there, but most of them are like at least in high school. And then even the kids that are in this neighborhood, we had one kid come to our, or one group of kids come to our house the whole night. So that explains our neighborhood. It's
yeah.
just not great for Halloween.
It's
But the
like most
neighborhood
of them have
over,
kids in college
mhm,
already, kind of deal.
exactly. Most
Yeah.
people were retired in my neighborhood.
Mm,
We kind of, I figure we're gonna outlive a lot of the members of our neighborhood in the coming years. But
mhm.
we so Beck was a flamingo, and she basically Heather made the costume. She did like a tutu with like pink pants and shirt, and then
Mhm.
a feather boa around her head with like a drawn flamingo head. She
Nice.
looked so cute, and she loved it. And of course, little Gray, she was a pumpkin, as all kids were at one point in their life,
Yeah,
especially in their younger years.
for sure.
So she was super cute. She had like a little fleece hoodie, outfit on, and she was the cutest little pumpkin.
Nice.
And then, yeah, we had a good time. I really don't like. We're not like we don't really have like Halloween costumes much anymore ourselves. Like me and Heather. Um, but we do. If we go to like a what do you call it? Like a costume party or something. We weren't invited to any this year. We're not cool enough yet in this town, in this here Richmond town. But like I remember in years past, I've done like Halloween, yeah, like parties and stuff. And I
Yeah.
think the most recent one, what was I?
I was gonna
Oh
say, yeah,
man,
what's a go-to costume for you, even
I
years
have
ago?
I have a Willie Nelson pigtails wig that sometimes I'll pull out and play Willie Nelson. It's got
Nice.
like a American flag bandana
Yeah,
and the gray pigtails. So sometimes I'll do that. And
yeah.
then I forget what I did a few years back, but I did do something. But I usually am not like super creative. Some people are like clever with this stuff. Like I saw one that was like Randy Johnson and the bird that got hit by his pitch one time, and
Oh,
the bird's like all
wow.
bloody and like feathers are everywhere,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And like my friend was like Hall and Oates at the same time. Like he had like half of his face was like Daryl Oates or John Hall or whatever the names for each one was.
Yeah, yeah. My,
And
easy go-to for me, back in my thinner years a little bit,
mhm.
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I was
I
able
can see
to
that if he shaved, yeah,
put on the
or
t
at
oh,
least
yeah,
shaved
right.
down because he had like a goatee or a soul patch or something,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I think he had, like, a goatee situation or something,
Uh-huh.
and I
Yeah.
did used to just have goatee situation.
Ooh,
The
I
the
used to
whole
do that.
beard thing started around COVID, I think.
Ah, it looks
But
good.
anyway, tan pants and a green
Uh-huh.
V-neck T-shirt, and boom, I'm Shaggy. Like, and
Yeah.
my act in college, my hair was like down over my
Oh,
ears. I mean, I'm due
really?
for a haircut now, even,
Uh-huh.
but in college, it was like down to my ears, and
Mhm.
kind of hilarious now that I look back. Of course, everybody has pictures like that, but
Yeah. When
yeah.
I was younger and thinner, I looked straight and without a beard, especially without a beard, I looked strangely like Bob Saget.
Nice.
So people were like, "Wow, like that's weirdly close." And when I one time I dyed my hair black, I don't even know why, and I don't even remember when. But they were like, "Wow, that's very Bob Saget." Like it was just funny.
Well, all you need is to
Yeah.
have a few more kids and have some other family members move in with you, and
Mhm.
you can be full house for
Yeah,
Halloween.
exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
We so one year, I used to wear a goatee, and I was way too young to wear a goatee. I was like in college having a goatee, thinking this is like nice facial hair, but like goatees are not so much for college people in my humble opinion. You gotta have a little age on you to put a
Okay.
goatee on. But it was like a nice thin goatee, and I was a lot skinnier, and I was swimming a lot more, so I kind of had a little more like not I don't have like strong pecs or anything like that, but I definitely looked more fit than I do now.
Mhm.
And some people were like, "Wow, you look like," and I had very short hair, even shorter than what I have now. So people thought I looked a lot like Edward Norton in American History X, which I thought was a compliment because he is hot in that movie.
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
into dudes. If you're into dudes, good for you. But I'm like, dude, that's a good looking man right there. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's up there. Like, have you ever seen that movie?
No, actually, I haven't.
Do you know what he looks like?
No. So, well, yeah,
Okay,
Ed Norton. Yeah, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
but like in American History X, look it up right now. You're gonna
All
be
right.
like, "Whew, hot
So,
mama."
is this a movie you've seen recently again, or has it been a while?
That movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I mean, it came out in like '01 or something like that, or 2000, I think. But he is like the pinnacle of like muscular, but yet not trying too hard.
Yeah. I
That's my
guess
aim. That's my goal.
I was gonna say ripped, but I guess ripped kind of implies like super like
Cut. Yeah, yeah,
poking out muscles.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
just
No,
like
he's just like,
the definition of fit, I guess.
yeah. I would say ripped would be Brad Pitt in Fight Club with Edward Norton, but I would say like just I don't even know what to call Edward Norton there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's he's a goal. If like some people are like, if you ever went to like a personal trainer and had that kind of money and had that kind of availability to like let them take over your life,
Right.
I'd be like, some people are like, yeah, I want to be like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, which apparently is a big like thing. Like I heard this thing where it's like a lot of personal trainers are like, what do you want to look like? And they're like, Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Right.
But if it were me, it'd be Edward Norton in American History X. Great
Yeah.
movie. Very intense, scary intense sometimes.
Mm.
Very like meaningfully violent.
Yeah.
But closes out really well.
Mm.
Really well.
Tell you what I need though.
Uh-huh.
If I was gonna pay somebody to help me with my
Mhm.
life in some way, they'd be
Uh-huh.
cooking me actually good food that is
Mhm.
nutritious all the time. I
That's
think
for real.
that's maybe what I need a little more than the physical activity guidance side of things. Just
I hit
always having good food on hand. Hard.
yeah. I hit another high score today. And I was like, guess I'm running because I
Yeah.
have a little more time in the morning. So,
Yeah.
but it's all that Halloween candy and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it caught up to me.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, some people are like, man, I ate too much candy. I don't get there. Like, and I've said this before on the podcast, I have like a stomach of a vulture. I can eat anything and I don't feel bad about it. My weight feels bad about it, but these days, but back in
Oh.
the day, I don't like my stomach doesn't hurt when I overeat anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Taco Bell, anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were going this route. I guess
Mhm.
it's a little fortunate. I get tired of what I'm eating really quickly.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Oh,
like
gotcha.
if I have a bag of potato chips, I'll eat like, I don't know, maybe 8 bites or so. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, I'm done. I don't
Let's
want any
move
more.
on.
And like same goes with like candy too. Like
Oh,
I
really?
mean, I love candy, but I'll
Mhm.
have like a couple of whatever, and then I'll be like, okay, too sweet, I'm done. So
Really?
that's been pretty beneficial for
Weird.
me over the years.
Apparently, one of my medications has a side effect of not feeling full, and I think that's been really getting me lately. It's just like, I'm
Sounds
just
like
not
that'd be
even
hard.
full.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I don't yeah, like I said, I don't regret it, like, physically. Like, I'm not like, "Oh, I still ate too much," or something. No, it's just like I get like, in a way, it's like I get bored and eat, and I bored eat all the time, and I'll
Yeah.
just like, I'll eat a whole lunch, and I'll be like, "Ah, what else is in the fridge?" But I'm like, "No, you're good. Like, you ate enough." And it's
Right.
just bored eat. It's terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
Yep.
But,
I got another fun story for you
uh-huh. Yeah, bring it.
about bottle shopping.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, today, well, actually, so I'll start 2 days ago, 48
Uh-huh.
hours ago.
Oh, bring it
uh,
on. The
so
first
some
48.
yeah, I know. Right? Some friends down in Tucson
Mhm.
said, "Oh, there's a stag store pick dropping
Oh,
today."
killer.
I
Mhm.
know, right? Um, So there's two Total Wines in Tucson.
Uh-huh.
One seemed to have it all, and they seemed
Oh,
to
wow.
have cases and cases and cases, and the other
Uh-huh.
one just had nothing.
Bro.
And so it's like, okay, well, cool. I'll keep an eye out here, I guess. And then the
Mm.
next day, that store still had them. Not that they were out continuously, because
Yeah.
obviously they would have just gotten rushed. But I think
Yeah.
they, after the big first drop, they started to slowly roll them out. So like
Uh-huh.
the next day, being yesterday now, they somebody went at like 6 p.m. and was like, yeah, they put a couple out on the counter.
Oh,
So then
wow.
I had texted my in-laws who live in Tucson,
Oh,
and
that's so awesome.
and I was like, hey, so if you guys don't mind, there's this store. They have this bottle. I sent a picture and everything. And we've talked about Stag before, and my
Yeah.
father-in-law, Jim, he's definitely sipped it at my house before, and
Mhm.
everything. So anyway, he knew he knew what to look out for, and
Nice.
he went over there today, and other friends that are in Tucson, they were like, yeah, I'm gonna go too, and I was like, oh well, you can meet my father-in-law.
Uh-huh.
So they're all there at the store together,
Oh,
and
that's funny.
they're in there this morning, and
Uh-huh.
standing at the customer service, and they're like, I can see it, it's right there behind the counter, but the
Uh-huh.
people at the store were like, no, maybe later today, I don't know. Maybe later today. So my father-in-law headed back home, and the other
Uh-huh.
guys waited around the store for a bit. And I don't know if they convinced them or what. I hope they were
Yeah.
nice about it, because man, when people
Uh-huh.
are jerks
Yeah, they
about
could
it,
be
that's
rude
just the
sometimes. Yeah.
worst. But anyway, so I called up Jim and I was like, turn around, please. They just put it
Mm,
out if you don't mind.
that's funny.
So he
Was he
went back
driving
over there.
back at the moment?
Yeah, he was driving back home.
So it's
Yeah.
not that bad. It's not like
Yeah,
he got home and took a nap, waking him
totally.
up or something.
So yeah, I know, right. Yeah, yeah. But apparently they had like 4 cases this morning. So he got
That's
one easy,
great.
no problem. And I went out to two Total Wines. That I have two like equidistant from my home,
Uh-huh.
and I went to both of those this morning, and neither of them had
Nothing.
any idea about anything. They
Oh,
hadn't
wow.
heard anything about anything. Obviously, you never really
Would
know
it
what
have
they
made
know.
like the Tucson stores, like would they have also made like would have the bottle made it up to Phoenix as well?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, okay, no, I don't necessarily think so. I just hope
Mm.
so.
Yeah, it would be
It's
great.
like
Yeah.
same state, same distributor, same
Yeah.
regions.
Mhm.
So who
Same.
knows?
Yeah.
Oh, but I will say, there's one Total Wine on the west side of Phoenix who also got it.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting.
Just one, as far as
Interesting.
I've
Which
heard.
one
And
was it?
it's a Total Wine that's in Surprise, Arizona.
Okay.
It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think it's northwest or west
Yeah.
Phoenix.
It's like the region that people don't know each other on in Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's like being on the west side and being on the east side, it's like that's not really the same city.
Yeah,
Like the
literally
same
an hour from my
metro
house.
area. Yeah, exactly.
Literally an hour from my
Mhm.
house. So, like, that's well into my region of I'm not gonna drive that far
Mhm.
just to finally get there and have them have just sold the last one. It's like
Mhm.
2 hours round trip to come back empty-handed would just be
Yeah.
devastating. So, absolutely not gonna do that.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, tomorrow's a normal drop day, so I will
That's
go
cool.
back over again tomorrow, and
I miss
just
those
to see.
days.
But yeah.
I took a
Miss
little
seeing you there on it.
yeah, I took a lunch break or part of my lunch break today. I went to the liquor store and I knew they got a truck that came in. And but it doesn't really matter if a truck comes in typically these days in Virginia because they're allocated stuff they set aside for the drops.
Right.
Um, but I still was looking for at least one more bottle of the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye, which they unallocated. So no dice,
Yeah,
but they
right.
did have a drop. I mean, they did have a truck come today, but no dice on that.
Just
Um,
normal stuff on there. Is that what that means?
yeah, yeah, like just standard and
Yeah.
anything even special. It's even just hard to find. Like
Yeah.
they even allocate some stuff that you're like, really, you're allocating that?
Right.
Although I didn't mention this, I don't think I mentioned this last 2 weeks, but the Virginia lottery, like the state, the ABC lottery, went off, and I only put in like for me and my wife. I think that was the only, or no, I did ask a coworker, can you put in an entry for me? So only three. Normally it's somewhere between 15 and 30, but they
Of what
changed it
you
recently.
do? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, of what I sign up people for that don't
Exactly.
know it yet.
Right, right.
And, yeah, of what I do for me,
For
like, for
yourself. Yeah,
my
yeah.
own whiskey sake. And, so I only got in 3, and I got 2 bottles off of my personal entry with my name on it. And, so I was stoked, and, yeah, I got a Blanton's Straight from the Barrel and a Blanton's Gold. And the
Yeah.
Straight from the Barrel, was like 132.5, I think.
which is
So I'm
great. Yeah.
excited. Yeah.
Over 130 people really like to see that on a blind
Seriously.
straight from the barrel.
And it was barreled or dumped on the week of my daughter's birth, of Beck's birth. It was like 2 days
Perfect.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Nice.
stoked.
Yeah.
I'll have to
And
open it on one of her special birthdays or something. So go
yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
for sure. No, you're good. I think I saw you said you came back. Oh yeah, that was when you found out that they unallocated the Jack barrel proof rye because
Yep.
you were able to pick up one of those too, easy peasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I got a few
Oh
of those, saving those for the girls.
yeah,
Or
right.
thinking about
So
it.
you said
Uh,
two got pulled off one name. So like if they pick you for a winner, like your
mhm.
name goes back in the bucket when they.
No, so there's separate buckets for each bottle.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you can just throw your name in every single bucket.
Yep.
Okay.
Although there's only usually 4 or 5 per drawing.
Okay.
So the
But
other ones
there.
were Michter's Celebration and Michter's 20 year, which only had like 1/11 years or 11 bottles respectively.
Yeah.
So I wasn't gonna win those. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you put your name in anyway because there was no reason not to, right?
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Okay,
absolutely.
so that's yeah.
Even if it was $1,200 versus I forget what Michter's Celebration, like 5,000 or something like
I
that.
don't even know.
I'll find the way, because would I keep a bottle of Michter's Celebration? No, I would trade it.
Oh,
Um,
no drink along samples? No?
oh man, that would be killer. Everyone would get on Patreon. I would butt chug the next day. Yeah, that'd be funny.
That would be awesome though.
Yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, keep an eye out for Patreon samples in the next 2 weeks.
Ooh, very good.
Because they're coming. If
Yeah.
you're on Patreon and you want to drink along, get on Patreon. If you're not on Patreon, that doesn't make sense. Anything else before we get into what we're drinking today?
Yeah, actually, I have a fun entry buzz that
tell
I've
me about
selected
that.
for today. So today, another shout out to Jim, who like obviously gets a ding.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
Jim brought me back this Glencairn from New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
That
Oh,
if
crap.
you're looking on the video, you can see a sweet little
Yeah.
map of New Zealand, and it says New Zealand on it. One of my
I bet they
favorites.
have distilleries out there.
And they have this one right here. So my
cool.
buddy Josh sent me this. He just found it at a
that
random
looks
liquor store in
legit.
Texas. So this is from Dunedin, New Zealand, which is
Okay.
on the south side of New Zealand,
Okay.
of the South Island, south side. So this is the
Mhm.
Dunedin 18-year double cask. So it's a
18 year from New
Yep.
Zealand?
Yep.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So New Zealand single malt to go with the
Wow.
Australian single malt that we
Yeah.
have later today.
Yeah, for sure. I am entry buzzing on a bottle that I was just had the dregs of here, and it's Buffalo Trace Kosher Weeded Recipe Bourbon.
Very
Only
good.
because I wanted to finish a few bottles, and the other one I have is Glenmorangie 18, and I have like the littlest bit of that. So
Nice. That's that kosher. I do have the 3 koshers, but I haven't opened them yet. I will someday. It'll be a fun thing when I have people over. It'll be like, hey, let's drink all 3 koshers. So
yeah,
but
in celebration of Rosh Hashanah
do
or something like that. Yeah.
Do you think they're better than normal Buffalo Trace?
I think this is the worst weeded bourbon of the Weller line.
Okay.
But it's still good. I remember when we reviewed this one, I was like, any Weller could beat this one up, including Special Reserve.
Interesting.
But I love Special Reserve. So you get the sweetness from this one, but you don't get the green apple that I love from Weller.
Yeah.
So it's but don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's the least of the weeded bourbons from Buffalo Trace.
I've heard good things about the rye. I can't remember if it was rye recipe or straight rye, but I've heard one of those is like a clear front runner of the 3 at least.
So we have that's on deck. Robbie, who is sending you samples soon, has a sample of that, and I still haven't tasted the rye, because we've never done it on the podcast, and I've just saved it for the podcast. So there's still like a full bottle downstairs for me of the rye, the straight rye. So, but yes, one sec, guys. For those on YouTube who saw it in the background, we are drinking a very special Australian whiskey brand today. It's called Starward. And we got 2 bottles from them, 2 bottles each. Am I right? I'm right. One is their Nova release, and the other one, which is kind of like their standard single malt whiskey. And then the other one is their barrel pick that they did. It's called Captain's Pick 3. And there were only 240 bottles from, or maybe not. What did yours say on it, bottles wise?
Bottles 240.
Okay, so yeah, that's the total amount of bottles. And that's really sweet that they sent each of us one of these. So let's go to break. We'll come back. We'll do a little bit on the history, which we reached out and asked a bunch of questions, good questions at that. And they gave us some great answers. And then we'll start drinking. So here we go to break. And we're back. Actually, Bryan reminded me of a very important thing to bring up. Christmas is coming, everyone. The goose is getting fat. So if you want to be a part of this Christmas, there's a lot in it for you. In fact, there are 4 bottles that we are setting aside for gifts back to our peeps. And as some of you may know, as some of you might not know, if you're new to the podcast, is that every year Cole shamelessly asks for gifts for the podcast, but also gives back. So and Bryan and I are going to give back as we always do on the podcast. Last year we had a Weller 12 and a Elmer T. Lee set aside for gifters to the podcast. And I think Bryce and Sean Ciara won each one of those. Bryce Morita. But this year we have some killer gifts to give back. And we're doing, and like I mentioned before, each one of us, Bryan and Cole, are going to give a gift for the best gift given to us. So if like 10 people give us gifts, then we'll decide, okay, this one was the best. And for me, the winner of the best gift receives a Blanton's Gold this year. So keep an eye out for that. And then a random giftee will get a bottle of Nika from the Barrel. Both some nice gifts back. So if you're considering, and we'll need gifts by probably around the 15th of December. So if you're considering, I would need to send something over, hit us up, or maybe even hit Robbie Dedlow up, and he'll send you if you want it to be like a secret, for example. But if you don't want to be a secret, hit us up on Instagram. We'll give you the addresses needed. But if you want it to be a secret, hit up Robbie Dedlow, Dedlow, RDEDLOW, on Instagram, and he will send you our addresses. And yeah, so that's mine. I got the Blanton's Gold and the Nika from the Barrel. Bryan's got his own. What do you got, Bryan?
Yeah, so I was thinking about giving out a batch 1 Ode to Isla from last year. So that Ode to Isla that everybody was clamoring over and everybody loved. I picked up 4 and sent them to various other chill filtered listeners,
including myself.
Yeah. So anyway, I've still got one of those batch 1s of the Ode to Isla from last year, and there's news on the new one getting released. So and I realize somebody might pick up one this year and may not be somebody's jam for such a mesquite, smoky single malt. So we can figure something else out too. I've got like a 4 Roses barrel strength pick I could sub in if somebody wasn't a smoky barbecue smoke kind of,
but it'll be can you imagine when Del Bac gets to their status of who they truly are, what they truly are worth, what owning a batch 1 of Ode to Isla is worth to begin with. So yeah,
it's worth a lot to my palate and stomach. So I hope you open it if you get it. But also for random too, I've got an Eagle Rare we'll throw into.
Nice.
So we'll just spin a wheel or pull some ping pong balls out of a fishbowl or something. Yeah. And so my random bottle will be Eagle Rare.
No, that sounds great. So that is some business. Also, we are also going to be in charge of a Patreon only, at least this year. We're going to do a Patreon people only, a whiskey sample, Secret Santa. So we will be putting on Instagram some of the details of that, but it's pretty simple. We're going to keep it to what did I say? There were 3 or 4 samples, but we'll say 4 just because we can. One is a entry buzz type of a pour. One is a very strange pour. If you can pull off something like that, that's just different and off the regular. One is a show off pour. And then one, like something like you're like, really like, check this out. Like, this is one of my favorite bottles. And maybe not like your top bottle, but one of the ones that you're like kind of showing off for. And then another one is a trusty go to. So if that makes sense, we got 4 bottles. And so if you're on Patreon, feel free to hit up our Google forum to sign up for that soon. We'll put it out on Instagram. And if you want to hit us up on, if you're not on Instagram, hit us up on chillfilteredpodcast@gmail.com and we'll get you the form. If you're on Patreon, we'll also post it to Patreon. But maybe next year we'll open it up to the whole crowd. Because I think it'll be pretty successful this year because we had a lot of people saying that would be a great idea. So,
and I imagine there will be a deadline there
yes.
to join the Patreon if you're not a Patreon supporter. And I imagine that deadline would be somewhere around December 1st as we iron out the details.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Patreon supporters by December 1st, we'll get you on the Secret Santa if you want. You'll send 4 samples to somebody random and you'll get some 4 samples from somebody else.
Yeah, and you don't even need to be a $10 tier or more for the Secret Santa. You just need to be on Patreon. But you won't be getting drink along samples if you're not at the $10 tier or more for the new joining people. So that's the business. I think that's it. And let's get into some history. So we reached out to Starward, and they're but they're definitely a distillery that you haven't heard of too much. But they're from Australia. They're making single malt whiskeys. They're making a lot of cool stuff, including some like cocktail related pours. Like I think they have something that's just like I think they have like bottled cocktails in a lot of ways.
And their branding is killer too. The branding on the bottle cocktail, it's a very like minimalist looking rocks glass, and there's like a star with a starburst line, but the line looks like a drink stirrer. It's just
look this up.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's super minimalist. That's all there is. It's just the glass outline, and then it's that starburst that looks like a drink stirrer, and that's it for the bottle cocktail. Cool. Yeah. But anyway, their branding's on point in general too. I'm a pretty spacey guy. I love space and all things NASA. And there's the decals on this bottle. I mean, it's printed onto the glass where it's all sorts of Nova, spacey, galaxy kind of stuff on this bottle. It's really good looking.
Yeah, I agree. But you don't know about the 3 or the 2 or the end body problem. So sad.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I probably did at some point. There's a lot that I learned in college that I don't know anymore. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, it makes sense to me. So we reached out to Maya. I forget what her last name is, but she was, I believe, worked as maybe a brand ambassador, but probably a little more than that. So shout out to Maya. I want to say it was like Traceman or something like that. Actually, I have it right here. Maya Traceman. Look at that. Cole's got it on point. So Maya was super helpful, gave us answers to the questions we reached out to. I had great questions. She had great answers. So let's get through some of these questions. This is our history for today. I reached out and said, I looked up their website and started to realize that this guy named David Vitale started the brand. And I said, what inspired David Vitale to start the company and brand? She said, Dave wanted to make something that was uniquely Australian that he could offer to the world with pride because it is so hard to get these things from Australia to the US. He explored a couple of different ideas, beer and wine, because that was his background, and just landed on whiskey because that was a perfect culmination of what he now describes as his love letter to Melbourne. That's what Starward is to him. And so if you're not familiar, Melbourne is basically like the biggest city towards Tasmania, that like island off the southeast coast of Australia. And it's like a little bit southwest of Sydney. And so it's kind of one of the southern cities of probably the biggest southern city of the mainland Australia. It's kind of on the southeast portion. So, and it's really cool, apparently. It's like a really cool city. A lot of people love it. I asked why the name Starward. She said he wanted to be as unique as the place. It was It was born in this whiskey. Oftentimes, or really all the time, whiskeys are named after a person, place, or thing. And oftentimes it is usually referencing a place that it was made in. But David didn't want to stick to those traditions of naming the whiskey after a noun. So he looked starward and found his answer. That's
Hey,
nice.
that's the name of the distillery.
Yeah, exactly. I put on the story today Russell's Reserve 15 year, and it said
Yeah.
non-chill filter. I'm like, hey.
So yes, Sam follows the podcast or follows the
uh,
Instagram now too, and she saw that, and
um,
I was explaining to her the hey, that's the name, or that's not the name of the podcast the other day. And so when she saw that, she was like, hey.
oh, that's funny. Yeah, my wife is. The funny thing is that your wife will probably listen for a little bit, and then she won't.
That
That's
is
how it
okay.
goes.
That's okay.
Yeah, she'll be like, this is not my thing.
Yeah,
At least
right.
that's what Robbie and I had the issue with.
Well, I'm
So
sure
I
it wasn't
said,
an issue. I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah, no, it wasn't a big issue. I asked, what's the culture like in Australia, and Australian whiskey scene? And is Australia or I'm sorry, and is wow, how did I write this? I basically asked, what is Australian whiskey the dominant whiskey in Australia? She said, so fun fact, Starward is actually the number one Australian whiskey sold in the US, but Australian whiskey scene is actually bustling. Another fun fact, Australia has more distilleries than Scotland.
What?
She said, you can fact check me on that, but it's a really interesting story. I would encourage you to actually look into it a little more. But someone like Bill Lark, who started Lark Distillery, who you referenced in another question, um, really helped the rebirth of the distillery scene and the whiskey making scene after the Distillation Act really crushed all craft distilling. I'm not familiar with the whiskey after the Distillation Act, but I'm sure it crushed Australian whiskey. What I asked, what differentiates Starward from the other distilleries like Lark or Sullivan's Cove, two brands that I'm familiar with. She said the big difference is that we fully mature our whiskeys in ex red wine casks, and most other brands of whiskey makers just finish their whiskey. So we are fully maturing from barrel to bottle, and it's all in fresh red wine casks that have been sourced from within a day's drive of the distillery. That's how local our whiskey making is to Melbourne. Those red wine casks are sourced from wineries all within a day's drive of the Melbourne distillery. We really take pride ourselves in being an innovative and young distillery team. Our distillery team and distillers are really young, all in their 20s and 30s for the most part, and they're really encouraged to get creative and be innovative, and that's one of the things that really speaks to, or that are in our single barrel. She said, really speaks to, as well as our limited releases that shows the innovation that they got going. So. I noticed one of the things you can see on the neck tag of one of these says most awarded distillery of the year from the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal, even if it's the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, where everyone basically gets a medal.
Yeah.
Not everyone. I'm not going to be rude, but a lot of people get a medal at that one. But it's a big deal for Starward to get so many awards, and to beat out companies like Buffalo Trace, which is usually highly awarded every year. And I said, what was that like for the people that make the whiskey this year to win such a big award? She says, that was a huge deal. It was extremely humbling for the brand. From the Australian team as well as the US team, it really sent a message that what we're doing as a brand and as whiskey distilling team is resonating. We borrow from tradition, but we are a modern whiskey making team, and it is working. People are interested in what we're making, and we are just so excited that we have a growing audience here in the US who's wanting to try our delicious Australian whiskeys. And the last question I asked is, what's on the horizon for Starward Distillery? She said, that is the perfect question because we have a lot coming up on the horizon in 2024. We are always looking to push the boundaries of what whiskey can be and constantly reimagine what the process can look like, whether it's using barrels that used to have stout beer, or here's what gets me: barrels that once held ginger beer.
I
I love
just saw
ginger
that
beer.
on their webpage. I
Oh,
just saw that.
cool. Wait, is it already out?
Starward Ginger Beer Cask number 7.
I might need to get that. I love ginger beer. Like, if I could drink one soda for the rest of my life, it'd be ginger beer.
Oh,
But
sold
if you,
out. Sorry.
dang, I'll get on it.
You have to
Yeah.
catch number 8 whenever that comes out.
Exactly. And she said, and really leaning into the potential of the spirit that we make. Maya was so nice to offer a coupon code for those who go to their website, starward.com. And the coupon is very easy to remember, or the code is very easy to remember. It's chill, all caps, CHILL. And you can get free shipping on all orders. I think at this very moment, oh no, it's cheap shipping, but if you go put in our code, you'll get free shipping right now. And then she also, check this out. Check this freaking out. This is a first for Chill Filtered. They're sending us all these codes and stuff. We're not making money for the record off of these codes, but we're glad to send them out. For our listeners. We'll see how the tasting goes, but she sent out. There's a stout cask finished single malt that they do that she wanted to give our listeners early access to. And that is by going to starward.com/products/stout-cask. And you can put in the password chill, similar to the coupon code, CHILL. And you can get access to that before anyone else does. So
I'm on
that.
the page right now. I pulled up it listed the stout cask. I clicked on it and it says,
It says
you've
password only.
got to put in the 5-digit code before you can
Hey, so yeah,
continue.
you can find it on their website, I guess. So what we're
Yeah.
drinking today, 2 bottles. We're drinking their Nova release, which is kind of what Maya was telling me. This is kind of their standard single malt release from Australia. I believe it's a 2-year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, aged 2 years. And like we said, 100% red wine casks, and elementally matured. And they mentioned that a few times on their website, like elementally matured. Basically, it's a interesting range of temperatures down in Melbourne, because it is so far south that you can get a hot range and you can get a cold range. Like I forget what, like Tasmania can get pretty cold, and I'm sure Melbourne's not too far from that. Plus, they like right on the ocean, and so they say elementally matured, which means the elements got involved and made a whiskey in the aging process. So
yeah, where they said they source their wine casks from the region.
That's right.
I googled it and just googled what's the weather there, just out of curiosity,
Uh-huh.
and one data point. But we're talking like mid-50s this time of year, which
Oh,
actually
that's what we're dealing with in Virginia.
yeah, but they're in the southern hemisphere, so maybe it's an abnormally cold day.
That's
They are
true.
pretty
Maybe
far
it's,
south,
yeah.
though. We need to get a
Yeah,
geologist. We need to
both of
get
them.
a geo dude in here.
One who does both. um, and one of the things on their website, they mentioned their award-winning stuff, but it also says, real quick, Nova borrows from tradition but breaks away from it too. A deliciously balanced and bold whiskey for sharing and mixing, Nova is matured exclusively in red wine barrels sourced from wineries making Shiraz, Cabernets, and Pinot Noirs. This whiskey reflects Melbourne's unique nature in every step, from the vibrant culinary scene to the wild weather. Nova celebrates all that is unique and wonderful about making whiskey in Melbourne. Not the contrary, but additionally, we're drinking that Captain's Pick number 3. It says here on their website, a unique expression of Starward. Starward's single barrels are a special one-off display of the characteristics that make Starward the world's most awarded distillery. From Australian wine barrel maturation, oak selection, and Melbourne's wild weather, the single barrel is one of Starward founders David Vitale's standout favorites, available for limited time only. And I think this one's sold out. No, you can get barrel 3, even though there's only 240 bottles of it. Buy it. I don't know. We'll see how it tastes. What do you say we drink one at a time? And yeah, we drink the Nova first, all the pours of the Nova, and then we'll drink the single barrel.
Sounds good.
Cool. So this is gonna be a double cork crack today. Double cork pop crack. Oh man, I ruined the foil.
I know. I am destroying my foil currently.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we're not gonna drop any points for the foil,
Yeah, no one
but
judges
this is
a
not
bottle by its
easy.
foil.
Dang, this keeps ripping. Yeah, if it were a foil competition, they would get a 2. But that's not what we're judging for. Wow, you already got the cork pop? Man, I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Good tone to the cork pop.
Almost. All right, I'm just gonna rip it off. All right, here
Okay,
goes.
so code for free shipping. I mean, we're shipping all the way from Australia, or do they? I
Seriously.
wonder if they have
They do have some
warehouses here.
distribution already. Yeah, I don't know about like aging warehouses, but they distribute from Miami or something like that.
Does make sense. I'm crazy.
I'm
no
a
businessman.
black cork.
Hey, that sounded a lot like mine.
Oh. All right. Glug, 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 glug. All right. Let's let it. I have high hopes for this one.
Yeah.
I like single malts.
Ooh.
So also, this wouldn't. I don't think this would. No. This probably. Wow, you can smell it from here. Twizzlers. For me.
Twizzlers. Yeah.
Yeah, like the strawberry ones.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm getting a lot of honey sweetness.
Yeah.
I'm just a mellow honey.
Yeah, I think this would pass for Scotch if it were in Scotland.
A Highland.
I don't think it breaks any of the rules. Yeah, because it's probably 100% malted whiskey.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought you meant like on the nose. I'm with you. You mean how it's made?
No, it's definitely single malty. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the barrel doesn't disqualify it in the rules of Scotland. I don't think so.
I think if I were guessing, if I was guessing whether this was Scotch or Irish on the nose, I would definitely say Irish.
Oh yeah, I can see that absolutely. But it's definitely the red wine has a big impact on it. Like I said, the Twizzler, like the strawberry Twizzlers notes.
That's such a good note. Yeah, I like that.
Thanks. No, it was like, sometimes they just come to you.
Right.
You're just like, it's not even that they come to you. It's like, no, I don't smell whiskey. I smell strawberry Twizzlers, which is a blessing when you're reviewing whiskey. You're like, oh,
nailed it. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great
definitely.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of berry sweetness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like a sugar candy sweet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And white sugar too is what I have to say. And white sugar honey, not like so much brown sugar yet, at least on the nose. So you got your wee glass?
Yeah, I do. I'm beginning to question my ability to nose things with the wee glass. So I had grabbed 2 full-size Glencairns today, and then I was like, oh no, I need 4, and then I was like, I only have 3 that are clean.
That's
so anyway,
funny.
I'm still weeing over here.
Here's a good getting to know you question. How many Glencairns do you have at home?
I bought a pack of 12 wees. So I mean, they come in a pack of 12. So I have I have 12 wee wees. Let's not. And then I have about 6 or 7 full size, and
That's
it's Trevor's store I go to all the time. Glencairn, grab one of those. I'm somewhere at some distillery, grab one of those. I desperately need a Del Bac one. I don't know how I don't have a Del Bac one yet, but so I don't know how I haven't gone to Del Bac yet.
You haven't been there yet. Well, now you're our
correspondent.
Correspondent. Well, you're a co-host, so yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, right. Well, I'm the boots on the ground co-host. Anyway, one of these days when I go down to visit in-laws in Tucson, we'll have to go over there. But they're open weird times of day. It's only like 11 to 2 on weekdays or something like that. So I gotta hit it just right, I guess. But
when I went, it was COVID time still. We were in 2020, I think.
Oh yeah.
That was 2020 when we visited. So they had to like open the door, and we had to sit across the whole table to even do that interview episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, and Mark was there on that one, right?
Yep, he's right.
Nice, yeah.
Have you sipped this yet?
No, I haven't. I was waiting for you to start talking.
Oh man. Okay, so let's talk about it. It's 2-year-old single malt. I was expecting a little youth, but this ain't bad. Like for a single malt, like Highland style, non-peated at least. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
for
this
a 2 year. Yeah.
doesn't sting. It's not youthy to me.
It's not got that weird soapy barrel taste. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do they use small barrels? Did we know that?
They actually mention on the at least I read it somewhere. Oh
Hmm.
yeah. They use a 225-liter barrique barrels.
Barrique.
Or no, that's the what do you call it? No, it doesn't have it on this. The other one uses 225-liter, which I don't imagine is a lot. Let's convert real quick.
Yeah, the again, no youthiness. The wine finish really, the fruit sweetness from that really helps keep it even, keep it mellow. Definitely getting that honey on the palate, also a same kind of honey sweetness to me.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, this is 59 gallons, so it's similar to your American barrel.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, Decent. I won't even just say decent. This reminds me of a close to a 10-year Scotch, and I'm not just saying that, because we got free bottles.
Hmm.
This doesn't seem a young Scotch. Plus, Scotch needs to be at least 3 years old, I believe. And I'm impressed.
Yeah, the finish is a little light. There's not a lot of the fruit, um, not a lot of weight of that palate carries through to the finish. I think it kind of drops
Mhm.
off, but it's in a like a refreshing way. Like you're ready for the next sip almost kind of right away. That
Uh-huh.
it's a summertime sipper.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the fall off, but there is kind of a like it comes down and it's like, okay, good, 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 good. Then it drops a little bit into the finish. It goes back up and then it kind of tanks. But I don't think the finish is like a complete drop off. But at first it's like, oh wow, that's kind of it.
Yep.
And then it's just like, oh, I'm done. But it's not a bad thing, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour a little more
I was
first,
gonna say
and then I'm gonna add some water.
I liked it enough to crush that glass before
Yeah,
adding some water to it. So I need to pour a little more too.
I'm impressed. Australia. Have you ever had an Australian besides the New Zealand one you have? Have you ever had anything else down under?
Just New Zealand, and I've had a couple New Zealands too. I've got this Dunedin, and then I've got Waitui, I think
Okay.
Waitui.
Okay.
I've tried the Waitui stuff. That was pretty good. And one more that I just got some samples of. I think I got like an 18-year and a 25-year little about 3.5 ounce
You said from
samples
New Zealand?
from New Zealand. Yeah, yeah.
Shh. Those are
Um,
big ages for
yeah,
whiskeys that I've never heard of.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
They were pretty good though. Pretty good.
that's sweet. I've had Sullivan's Cove before, which is a Tasmanian. Shout out to Joel Bradbury. You know who you are.
Yeah,
Um,
still waiting for that wallaby in the mail. What's going on?
I know,
Maybe
right? Or
Christmas.
or the quokka from the southwest portion of Australia. Have you ever seen a quokka?
No.
You gotta look it up. They're always smiling. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
legit. And apparently they live like on an island where there's very few predators to their species. Um and they are basically just will walk right up to humans and be like, "What up?"
Yeah,
Because they're
well,
just not afraid of much.
do you know how to spell Kawaka?
It's Quokka.
KKA. Oh, it
Aren't
looks
they
like,
sweet?
yeah, it's like an adorable
Yeah, it's like a bear.
yeah, it's like the world's smallest bear.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little teddy bear. Decent nose with water. I think I get a little bit, tiny bit of raisins, but more like white raisins.
Yeah, I'm on the kind of dry wine, a little drier
Hmm.
wine nose.
Still a good single malt nose. Okay. I'm gonna say something real quick, and our listeners know that I like to be pretty honest. But I'm gonna say, how about a what for a 2 year single malt from Australia?
Mm.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've had many other things out of 2 years at all. I think I'd have been
Yeah.
too scared to try it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in Scotland, you got to be at least 3 years to be Scottish or Scotch.
Yeah, I
So we
always
don't really
forget, is
deal with much
bourbon
of that.
3 or 4? I can't remember.
Straight needs to be 2, and then bourbon doesn't need to be aged beyond being aged. Like you
Hmm.
could, like the one that like they were like pouring through a cask. was technically aged in new charred oak for bourbon, but you just have to age it in new charred oak. But then to be a straight bourbon, 2 years, to be a bottled and bond, 4 years, but otherwise nothing else.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the water took away the strawberryness of the Twizzlers. I'm not getting so much fruit anymore, I think. I
forgot to mention the proof real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. What
41%, 82 proof.
Cool, yeah. It's tricking me a little bit, because if it was aged longer, what I would want to say is that I'm getting like a dry wood flavor. I mean, maybe I still am. I have low familiarity with 2-year aged things, but it's not quite to a tannic sort of drying of the mouth. But yeah,
I'm with you.
I think I like the neat a little better though, because I like 100%. That berry sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little drier with the water. It's weird. You add water, it gets drier. Interesting. Yeah.
Not hydrating at all.
Yeah, it's definitely not better than the neat pour, but it doesn't taste super underproof. That would be actually that would be a request that I would want from Starward. Is like, hey, what does this taste like at 90 to 100 proof?
Yeah.
I don't know if this would kill it at 100 plus. But I would be intrigued. Actually, what's our single barrel?
I was just looking.
12. So yeah, 112.
Yeah. Which is super intriguing. I mean, it's 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's not like it's 130 proof.
Exactly.
That's 112 is a sweet spot. I mean, right there, 110 to 115 is usually has the potential to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and that's usually a high point for what do you call it? Cask strength scotches is like, you don't really often break 120 in cask strength scotches.
Yeah.
So it might be a similar latitude to like Scotland. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I want to say it's pretty low there to like get the range, because they say that Kentucky whiskey with the heat and humidity will often lose more water than alcohol. But sometimes in places like Scotland, sometimes you'll lose more alcohol in the aging process than you do water. Not all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I've heard there's huge differences in what leaves the barrel compared Scotland to Kentucky, for example.
Yeah. Well, cask strength scotches, speaking of, I managed to catch a good sale on a Highland Park cask strength today.
You bought it? That's so cool.
Yeah, they're usually, I don't know, 105 or something, at least here in Phoenix.
It was like 70 something, right?
73, yeah.
Wow.
And
what was the proof? Do you remember?
I want to say 112. I can look here in a minute, but yeah, I'm trying to find pieces of ice that fit in a wee Glencairn currently.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, right. Anyway, buddy of mine, Curtis, has gotten all the Highland Park cask strength so far. So
nice.
We've been able to sip 1, 2, and 3 back to back. And 3 was go ahead.
Was he the guy I helped out with the light and dark?
Yeah. Which
nice.
I mean, he loves Highland Park, so that was just so awesome.
Half off, incredible.
I know, right? And that was something that he'd even had his eye on previously too. So
that's so cool.
Perfect find.
I'm glad we can help him out. Yeah,
for sure. And anyway, 3 was a clear winner for me. Cask strength number 3, Highland Park, because it just has way more of a bourbon finish that you'd typically find. Cool. I don't know that it was finished any differently. I don't know, but all I can speak to is the taste, and it hits like a bourbon finish, a heavy bourbon finish scotch. Way less sherry, way more bourbon. That's what 3 tastes like to me.
That's cool. So on the nose with the ice, it's a little muted, but also bringing out notes that I don't love. A little too floral.
That's what I was going to say.
For me. Yeah. And a little too weirdly oaky. But we'll see how it tastes. But not loving the ice with this one. But we'll see. So far, I mean, heck, if it all comes down to the neat pour, it's a good whiskey to me. So
weirdly oaky was probably what I should have said previously when I was like, if it was aged, I the weirdly oaky comes through on the palate with ice. No. It gives it a bitterness that's not not fantastic.
Not my jam. The funny thing is, the neat and water I could very much enjoy, but I do not like this with ice. Like it is a no from me.
Yeah.
That's a no from me, dog.
I will say though, I'm still getting some berryness. I'm getting more berryness with ice than I was with water. There's a little more berry back in there now with me.
Just weirdly bitter all around for me.
Yeah,
I can't even pull out notes. It's like not my jam. So buy yourself a bottle of Nova, but don't pour in ice. If you want to go with my recommendation, and I say we crack this other bottle. Let me see if I can do the foil better this time.
Yeah, I know, me too. Yeah. Wait a sec. Did the topper
take it slow?
Did the topper on the other one have this in W?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't as clear to mine. Like this one's a lot like fresher and not crimped.
Okay, am I crazy? Why is it NW?
New South Wales, but without the S.
Oh, what? Are you making that up?
No, I'm joking. Okay. No, but it's like part of that region, I think.
Dude, I'm nailing this.
Oh, me too. Yeah, maybe it's just the and a better or no, they have the same cork.
Cleanest.
Yeah, samesies.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So buy the cast strength, everyone.
Better cork pop too. Ooh, interesting nose. I'm getting Twizzlers still. More Twizzlers than before. I'm excited for this one. Yeah, 112 proof.
This one's getting the full size Glencairn. Nice,
earned it. Yeah, I'm stoked to have these bottles. And it's a cool story too. You'd be like, hey, do you know Scotch? Well, this one's not Scotch, and it's from the other side of the world.
And they're super pretty. They'll grab your attention on the counter.
Yeah. Okay, Twizzlers distilled. like sharper notes of Twizzlers from me. But not as full-bodied Twizzlers, if that makes any sense. It's a sharper.
Well, so far I'm not getting that fruitness. I'm not getting the strawberry or anything. But
it's different.
It is.
Yeah, it's definitely not as fruity.
Yeah. It definitely smells hotter. Proofs way more.
Yeah, you're getting more vapors there. Every time these days I put my nose in a glass, I think of like Richard Patterson being like, I will kill you.
Yeah, right. I tend to hold my Glencairns with like fingertips on the bulge, so it's like he might kill me. I'm not hugging it.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't like super clear, but I guess he said hold from the stem.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I guess yes.
So for this one,
sometimes I do this when I'm really trying. Trying. This is when you watch Matt Porter, he's a freaking pro.
Yeah, dude's a pro.
Swirling like this.
Dude, I love Matt Porter.
Okay, on the nose. I wasn't watching if you sipped, but I'm still on nose. I'm getting hay. I'm getting barn. I'm getting a barn.
I could see that actually, but it's kind of like in the background.
Background. Oh, Twizzlers, right? Distilled Twizzlers.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going for sip.
Yep. I'm fighting through the burn on the nose. Not that it's bad or anything, but hay and maybe like a apricot if there was any fruit.
This ain't bad.
Cole just had a mind blown moment. Eyes as big as dinner plates.
Yeah. This is not bad. Some notes. This just reminds me of like a cast strength Highland Scotch, like something like, not like, okay, so it doesn't remind me of like something you get from Balvenie or Glendronach, more so like Macallan, which I think is high praise.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. Okay. I was wondering if you were like not agreeing with me.
No,
but it is a little bit to take down because it's a high proof, but you don't want to like take it too slow, but not too fast either.
This makes up all really the good. Finish on this crushes the Nova. I had just a roller coaster of emotions. And it's the spice level was just perfect the whole way.
Mhm.
It never got too hot. It never got too hard to. It never got abrasive. It was
Yeah.
not young. It just had a great spice that is frankly still going. I think this has the longest finish of anything I could imagine having for a 3-year whiskey. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I have no
And
notes yet.
no,
Please hold.
yeah. It is non-chill filtered. Hey, that's not the name of the podcast. 3 years matured. Like we said, 112 proof. There is okay, so I hate to say it, but it is on the bottle, and I try not to read these notes. I try not to read tasting notes on the bottle, but there is one note that I kind of very much agree with, and I probably would not have thought of this on my own. Rhubarb.
Okay, I think I saw that on the Nova. Is that on the?
It
Is
might
that
be
on
on the
the
note,
distiller?
but it's definitely on the one we're drinking now. I don't see it on the Nova.
Oh, maybe I'm crazy.
But definitely getting like, I love strawberry rhubarb pie. I love the mixture of, yeah, you getting it? Yeah.
No, I just really love strawberry rhubarb pie.
Yeah, it's the perfect mixture of sweet and tart.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, my favorite
I'm
pie
getting that.
is strawberry rhubarb.
Really?
Yeah, good call.
I love pie.
Wait, so I know there's pie and cake people. Some people love pie more than cake. Are you a pie over
Pie
cake?
every day. Like
Oh, see,
100% pie. Yeah.
I love a good pie, but I'm still cake. I'm still cake.
Really? Okay. Well, we'll put that on Instagram this week and say, are you a cake person or
Pie
a pie
versus
person?
cake. Yeah.
Because I make a darn good pie, and
Oh,
I
that's
love a
right.
darn good pie. And
That's right.
cake it only gets so far for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when we expand chill filtered to be in the
Mhm.
bakery realm, I'll
Yeah.
review the cakes and
There we
you
go.
review the pies. Yeah.
Did you watch baseball at all? Are you interested in baseball at all?
I don't follow. I don't have a team I care about.
Yeah.
It's sad to see the Diamondbacks lose last
Totally.
night because I live
Yeah.
in Arizona. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I grew up watching my brother play baseball, so
Okay,
I
cool.
know how baseball works and everything. I know all the rules
Yeah.
and everything. But I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Have you ever heard of John Boy?
No.
So it's a YouTube channel where he started off doing like what he called breakdowns of what do you call it? Baseball like scenes, basically, where he'll like read lips and talk like the manager is up near the ump and yelling at the ump, and he'll like read their lips and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then he like expanded it into this like empire, and now it's huge. They're millionaires easily because they've turned it into a John Boy like enterprise. And
is it all just a
and that's what we
joke?
should do.
Like,
What's that?
is he making up what they're saying? Like, hey man, I love you.
It seems pretty literal. Like it seems pretty legit that what he said. Like it's like I could totally see him saying that based on where his lips are saying, as well as the situation.
Huh.
And he'll do his best. He'll be like, I think he's saying this right now. He won't like say, oh, he's obviously saying you're a dum dub tootie butt with a baseball in your butt. And
so it's not satire, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so he does a great job, but it started very small, and now it's huge. Like he's got podcasts on every team of the MLB and stuff like that. Like it's like a huge empire now. But I'm like, we should do that. We should start with whiskey and then move on to cakes and pies.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to say move on to baseball there for a second. I was going to be like,
no, we're not the people for that. Yeah. Oh, still a little bit of strawberry, but rhubarb. Yeah. So it's, I mean, this is even better than the Nova.
Yeah. Oh, this is,
and the heat is perfect.
Yeah, to me, this is miles better than the Nova.
Mhm.
This is, I get the tartness. I'm struggling to. Well, okay, hold on. Maybe in my brain, I have strawberry and rhubarb so closely associated that like I do get tartness of rhubarb, and if you don't flavor it with like strawberry, all you get is tart. And so I do totally see that.
Yeah.
That tartness. There is some kind of fruit there, but it's like a mellow stone fruit to me. I'm sticking with my
behind stone fruit for sure.
Sticking with
like
my apricot note.
Yeah.
Because apricot, like peach, has like a rich sweetness, and this doesn't have that rich sweetness. It just has kind of like a dull fruit note that I associate with apricots, and I'm sticking with my kind of hay note, like a neutral grassiness, not like fresh cut grass. Don't get the wrong impression, but it's And again, the spice finish for days. Really,
Yeah.
this is easily hub to what for me.
Totally. No, I'm with you. Whenever we like bring on a new distillery, I worry because I'm like, all right, we got to be nice, but we also got to be honest.
Yep.
And it just is encouraging here. Once again, this is similar to like the American Woman whiskey company, where it's like, oh, thank God this is good. So this is great. Yeah. And not only, yeah, it's not just good. But so I dropped a few drops. It's not improved the nose. It's got a little bit of floral on it, which I don't love floral notes so much on a single malt type Scotch or single malt type whiskey. So I
I'm
don't
beginning to
improve the nose.
wondering if I dropped enough water. It didn't change the nose at all for me, so I dropped a little more water,
Mm-hmm.
and my
great palate.
nice.
Maybe even better palate.
Did you think the nose didn't change at all?
No, the nose changed a little bit. It became like a little more floral. But great palate. I don't know if it's a better palate, but great palate.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I get
it's
a
more
lot.
honey.
Yep,
Yeah.
a lot more honey sweetness. When I was talking about spice for days, the spice is mellowed with sweetness now, and the sweetness carries through the finish with the spice. It is a equally spicy and sweet finish now, and I really really like it.
No, this is great.
I'm not getting any fruit though. Maybe my apricot note's gone, and the hay
I'm getting
note.
still a little apricot personally.
Okay. Yeah, this is super good.
Surprisingly good. Good for you guys at Starward Distillery. Okay. Yeah, this reminds me of like a Macallan. Yeah,
for sure. Cask strength, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You ever had a Macallan cask strength?
No, I haven't. I know they exist, but
I've had the 25-year cask strength. That was crazy.
How does that exist? That sounds insane. That sounds like a $8,000 bottle. What is that?
We had it at the bar I used to work at, and I might have sneaked a taste.
How could you?
You gotta know if it's good.
Right. Yeah.
And in Virginia, it's very illegal for bartenders to sip the stock
while they're
maybe
working?
I was off hours or
exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah. You were.
You don't know ABC Virginia. You can't arrest me.
Representatives of an ABC store come and arrest you.
Show up to my door. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, we got you. You admitted it.
Peeking around on the Starward website, and they I assume this is like their premium offering. They've got this one called Vitalis.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the label is cool. The label is like a starburst in the middle, but a minimalist starburst. So it's only got like 4 lines that intersect in the middle, and with one really long line like a starburst. But all around it are these kind of splotchy watercolors that are like a muted rainbow splotchy watercolors. That,
cool. Yeah,
it is gorgeous.
$150 bottle too.
I haven't gone through and read what this is, but yeah, I mean, mega intrigued for sure.
Won double gold at the San Francisco, I believe.
Yeah, so like this is the one.
It's got a cool box too.
Yeah, this is the one that like made them. I assume made them win the if this won double gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2007 to 2022, math, 15 years. Yeah. So is this a 15-year single malt? It does say celebrate 15 years of whiskey with
it does.
Vitalis. So $10 a year, $150 for a 15-year. That's right on par.
We'll have to double check that. But it doesn't say it's a 15-year. Wait, so what is it? Okay. So
on the box.
Anniversary. Oh, look at that.
It says 2007.
I want to say it's like Supernova. Was it really aged in space? No.
Okay, now hold on. Yeah, I'm reeling it back. It says celebrate Starward's 15th anniversary.
Celebrate Ardbeg going to space.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I didn't put space in his mouth.
Has that happened yet? Did that go to space?
Did Ardbeg go to space?
Yeah.
Yes, but it was like a vial.
Oh.
That was the thing. It was like the smallest amount ever went to space. So
So it
not the
happened
bottle
and came
itself.
back and it's done.
Yeah, and they were
Okay.
celebrating the science of it and stuff
Got
like that.
it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Um,
Our spirit matured in these barrels from a range of 4 to 10 years before being assembled.
4 to
So
10.
it's
Okay, cool.
blended and it's 4 to 10 years.
That's cool though.
So that is the dealio. But the bottle is friggin' gorgeous.
Oh, look
And
at that. Yep.
and actually, if you scroll down most of the way on the page, there's a
Uh-huh.
photo of it with a black background, and it
Oh, that's
is
cool.
even more gorgeous.
So Maya, if you're listening, maybe we can get a bottle of this. We'll do a whole nother episode on the Vitalis.
Oh my gosh.
That's cool. But yeah, I guess that's paying homage to
Homemade
David
for
Vitale.
sure.
Homage.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So with ice,
Oh,
great nose, bright nose. So what you would expect from certain wine cask finish or wine cask aging is like a darker, like plums and raisins note. I'm getting a very bright note on the ice pour for the Captain's Pick number 3.
and I'm getting there. I have a larger Glencairn now, and I can actually put real ice cubes in it now.
Okay. Palette similar to the Nova. It's better. It's not better. It's better than Nova's ice pour, but it's not better than the neat or water pour. It's a little too floral. Weird oakiness on the ice pour. I don't love it on the ice pour. So I think avoid ice with Starward.
Nose on the ice. Nose on the ice. I'm getting sweetness. All I get is sweet. But it's like a sugary sweetness. Yeah, that's it. No, no,
no.
None of that ABV comes through on the nose. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I can finish this. I do not like this whiskey with ice. Surprisingly.
Yeah. Same bitterness, but I do like the ice way more than the Nova with ice.
Yes, I agree with that.
Still get getting honey sweetness with the ice along with that exact same bitterness that I got on the Nova. I love the idea that they'll be listening to this and they'll be like, "Why are you putting ice in it?"
Yeah.
But
well, they say it's good for cocktails and stuff like that. So normally cocktails have ice involved. At least they're cold from ice. Yeah, I had to sip some of the Buffalo Trace Kosher to settle that in my mouth feeling of the ice. That being said, the neat pour on each reigned champion. I am formulating my rating here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with okay, so Nova, let's talk Nova. Nova's definitely in the 8 range for me. I'm gonna go 8.8. Great pour. Tastes like a 10-year plus Scotch, Highland Scotch. No, there's no peatiness or anything. Really impressive. I'm gonna say Hubba to What minus a little bit, just because the barrel pick blew it out of the water. But it was I'm gonna change my rating. 8.9. Not 9 yet, but I actually am really impressed with the Nova. I think it is truly Hubba to What. But then the real Hubba to What came with the Captain's Pick number 3, especially on the neat pour. I got the hiccups now. It was complex. It was nice and fruity. Rhubarb brought out. Wow, I got the hiccup. I don't think I've ever had the hiccups on this podcast. Really good. I'm gonna give the Starward Captain's Pick number 3 a 9.2. I think it's fantastic.
So good. I gave you the
I'm so
hiccups.
grateful that it's good because I hate giving bad scores to when people send us whiskey.
For sure. I on the Nova, I'll go lower than you on the Nova. I poured a smidge more just to give it one more quick sip, and I'm low 8s on the Nova. I think it's 8.2 to me. I think, and that is including the factor of how young it is aged, and it still tastes this good. But still, if I'm gonna line it up against other things on my shelf, it's gonna sit at the low 8s. And the single barrel though really got me. Single barrel neat had me at Hubbard of what, which is 9. And
Nice.
then the water pour. The water pour pushed it up to 9.1.
You did that, yeah.
Yep. I like the water.
9.1.
Yep. I like the water pour the most. Pushed it up to 9.1 for me because that sweetness with the spice with an extremely long finish. Just, I thought it was fantastic.
And we get to keep this on our shelves and show it off. Hey, you
and
ever had Australian whiskey? You know, so yeah.
This could end up in the Secret Santa samples.
Ooh, that'll be the different or potentially I would see this even going like a trusty pour.
Actually, I'd absolutely put the single barrel in the trusty pour. And who knows? I might buy the Vitalis and I might put that in the show off pour. Who knows?
Or Maya could be like, hey, you know, like, I love you guys. You know, we'll send you at least one bottle or even a sample. Maya, we'll take a sample of the Vitalis.
Interesting.
Really impressive. And like I said, really good to know that it's actually good. Because I wouldn't fake a 9+. I certainly would not fake a 9+. Not that I ever faked anything. You know, Robbie and I, we've been I've been proud of every rating I've given, but I'm grateful that I didn't have to give this a bad rating. So yeah, check it out. Chill coupon code on their website, but we better speed up the rest because my wife's probably going to be mad. We're going a little extra long today, but it was a 2-bottle pour day. So, but I think it's time for our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Whiskey World News, and we're going to read an article today from Del Bac, Whiskey Del Bac, our favorite Arizona distillery. Yeah. Del Bac literally just earlier today sent out an email called Ode to Isla drops this week, and you have first access. And you is you who's subscribed to their newsletter, you. So Whiskey Del Bac says, for years, we've released a bold, heavily smoked American single malt inspired by the super smoky single malts of Isla. Formerly known as winter release, we've renamed this classic expression Ode to Isla. This expression is our way to raise a glass to tradition and pave our way with Southwestern ingredients. Ode to Isla is heavily mesquited, not peated. It also joins the Global Cask Collection as a limited annual release like Frontera and Normandy. This year's Ode to Isla is our mesquited, not peated American single malt, finished in a mix of ex-rye, bourbon, and second-use Whiskey Del Bac Dorado casks. The final result is a beautiful love letter to both inspirations. The last Ode to Isla expression earned a 9 out of 10 from Malt Review magazine and secured 91 points from Whiskey Advocate. This year, there are 1,400 total bottles, and on Saturday, November 4th at 9 a.m., Mountain Standard Time, an email will be sent to you email subscriber from Whiskey Del Bac, with a direct link to purchase your own bottle of Ode to Isla. So you can purchase yours at the distillery starting at 11 a.m. Last year's Ode to Isla sold out from the distillery within 9 days of launch. If you want a bottle, please act quickly upon receiving your email. With our new partnership with Big Thirst, we can ship to almost every state with the exception of, see if I remember my state abbreviations. Okay, so if you live in the states of Alaska, Alabama, Hawaii, Idaho, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, No, that's Mississippi. Missouri's MO. So this is
Yep.
MS, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Utah. So if you live there,
Yeah, Virginia.
yeah. So if you any one of the states I just mentioned, you can't get it shipped to you.
Okay.
And
Wait.
if you do live in Arizona, New York, Texas, Utah, Colorado, Illinois, and California, you can find it in stores beginning next week.
Nice. Spread their footprint.
Mm-hmm. Big distribution and partnership with this big thirst company. Almost most states, we'll say most states can get it shipped to them. Now,
This is
question for you. Do you remember? I could have researched this, but I didn't. This year's Ode to Isla is finished in a mix of ex-rye bourbon and second use Whiskey Del Bac Dorado casks. I was only under the impression that last year they only used bourbon casks.
I remember there was at least a little tequila in there. Tiny bit, he said. Yeah. And so okay, I'll mention this. While we were recording, Mark Viertaler reached out and he said, "This is great. I love Mark." He said, "Super stoked for you to try it. It's strikingly different from last year's, which will be our goal moving forward as well. Frontera and Normandy, we're aiming for consistency. Ode to Isla, we're looking at playing." He said, "It is not as smoky as last year's, but I'm incredibly happy with how it plays as a entire smoked whiskey. Not to flavor your opinion, but the recurring word used has been beautiful. So not as smoky, laying down some heavy smoke bombs on oak for next year's to boost that, but still an amazing whiskey overall."
Fantastic.
I'm stoked about this.
Yep.
And there is no doubt in my mind that we'll be reviewing this in the next few weeks. Yeah.
So okay, look, last year they came out with Sentinel. Which is MGP rye finished in mesquite.
Yep.
So this year it appears that for the last year of the aging, well, for some, it sounds like they blended it. Some is ex-rye, some is bourbon. So I'm guessing that they finished some of this in their Sentinel casks from batch one last year. Sentinel batch one last year.
Wait. So it said, So it said aged in smoked rye.
So it said it is finished in a mix of ex-rye, bourbon, and second use Dorado.
So that brings me to think that, Kent Cheeseman, the CEO of Hamilton Distillers, used to work at, what is it? Why am I blanking on the name?
Can't help you.
What's that? No, it's the Utah distillery, the Park City.
High West.
High West. So he used to work there. So I have a feeling it might be Rendezvous Rye casks.
Interesting. Well, and
which they have done. Yeah.
Distiller's Cut. Fall 2021,
exactly.
I think, was finished in Rendezvous Rye. Yeah.
Yep. So I could see it being that as well.
True.
But he said less smoke. Less
smoke. And if this year has ex-rye, last year didn't have ex-rye, I think.
I don't think so. But also he said next year, like 2024, would be higher smoke.
Ooh.
But he also said last year on our episode with Ode to Isla, he said, we're hoping to do more smoke in the future.
Yes.
So
I love how we're doing detective work here.
Breaking it down. So
the idea that it's even going to be different isn't. I will 100% buy this. I'm and now I'm like a little scared. I know I saw Ode to Isla in Total Wines for a while, so I'm pretty sure I can catch it at Total Wine rather than having to like buy it online and everything. Though if you buy it online, your money goes straight to the distillery. But if they're
probably
more detective work is needed on this. I don't know, but without a doubt, I will be buying this somewhere. If it is
100%.
Just the fact that it's less smoky has me intrigued. I really like the heavy smoke, though. I don't know about you.
I do, yeah. And that's the funny thing is like Mark was saying next year or in the future, I want to get more smoke on this. So
Ooh.
I still think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Knowing Mark and knowing our conversation, like if you haven't listened to that episode it was this year, it was 2023 where we recorded it, where we drank Ode to Isla. It was mind-boggling how good this was, and like perfectly balanced this was with the smoke, with the sweetness, with the raisins, with the honey. It was amazing, and even with ice, it was fantastic. I think knowing Mark, knowing our conversations with him in the past, I think this will be fantastic. But if Mark, you're listening, I might be sensing that this might not be as good as batch one, but I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to review it. I'm
Interesting.
still
Okay,
going to
but
drink it, but I'm getting this vibe that he's not as proud as this release as he was of last year.
so, and this is just a theory, but what
Mhm.
made you think that? Was there a specific wording?
Because he said last year that I want to get more smoke on it
Oh,
next
I'm
year.
with you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, heck, dude, I think I'm gonna love it because it's got a little smoke. I mean, that's the Ode to Isla releases, has to have smoke, but he said it was a little less smoky. It's gonna be amazing. I think this might even be a contender for whiskey of the year. If we're able to drink it by the end of this year of 2023, it'll be a nice battle. And heck, if we drink it this year, I'm gonna be sipping the Ode to Isla batch one as my entry buzz. So we'll figure it
Absolutely.
out. It'll be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Any other thoughts before we move to next week?
No, I'm really looking forward to this. This is a buy with no question for me because it's a
Oh,
single malt
totally.
that's finished in bourbon casks. And I don't know, again, I don't know if last year was also with a little rye in it, but I'm typically a
Mhm.
rye guy. I love rye. So if the
Love
rye
Rapp.
is new this year, like even that alone is what's going to get me to buy this year.
Totally.
So yeah, I love what they're putting out. I love that barbecue smoky, and I will absolutely buy this.
Totally. Oh yeah. All right. Next segment of the show, we like to call "What Whiskey Would You Choose?"
All right, so
Last week we said basically, what is a for a nice dinner? What whiskey would you choose to pair with a really nice dinner? Ben said Old Ezra 7-year rye, and I said Buffalo Trace. And so at the beginning, Ben was winning, but I snuck out for the real win. At Buffalo Trace won 62% to Ezra Rye, Old Ezra Rye, 7-year Rye. It got 38%. So suck it, Ben. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Ben. So, man, I've drank it a lot by
drink
now.
it. I'll admit I
Yeah,
haven't had the Old Ezra 7-year rye, but I've heard
never
really
had
good
it.
things. I've heard good
Yeah.
things.
Hmm.
But
But I'll go ahead.
what I was going for with what do I want with food? I want something more mellow with food, and I was afraid
Hmm.
to put a rye with food. I was
Hmm.
afraid that spiciness would be too much to pair with food.
Dude, I
So
think
obviously
ryes
I know what
compare with
Buffalo
anything.
Trace. Yeah.
I think of so when do we ever do a maybe you would know this, but do we ever do a what whiskey would you choose for cigars?
Oh,
Like
no,
pairing
but
cigars next week.
when yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
when you do an episode with our special contender guest who loves
Hmm.
cigars, you will
Yep.
do that. You'll do that. What whiskey would you choose for sure?
That'd be
Because yeah.
sweet. Um, this week, or I'm sorry, we asked the audience, and only we only got so many answers because it was a little late in the day. But I didn't tell the person doing it that it was this late in the day. But Broasco Tesquinososa answered Eagle Rare for a nice dinner, Weiser's 35 for the nicest dinners, Christmas, etc. We got a guy named BRY
He sounds like a jerk already.
Raps
Mm, no.
Raps.
I wouldn't trust this
He
guy.
said, yeah, I wouldn't trust him at all. He said Knob 12, which I can get behind. We got Kilted 518 Miles Ferguson. He said an Isla. Ardbeg or Lafroig. Since my steak is wood grilled, I want smoke on smoke. I like that answer. We got Joel Nemo9, Joel Bradbury from friggin' Tasmania, Australia. He said, Eagle Rare. What a boring answer for a whiskey podcast, but it looks cool and tastes great. Not a boring answer.
I thought you were saying that. I was like, no, don't say that.
No. That's what he said. No, I wouldn't say it. I love Eagle Rare. That's like fantastic.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, right.
And then we got a R Deadlow.
Who's this guy?
Deadlow. He said 4 roses small batch, which I can get behind as well. So that's all we got so far. There's more to be said, and I'm sorry if we missed you this week because it's still going. This week, though, Bryan has a good choice in terms of what whiskey we'd choose this week. Go ahead, Bryan.
Thank you. Yes. So this week's What Whiskey Would You Choose is what whiskey makes the best old fashions. And
I got an answer.
And price is not a quantifier. What am I trying to say? Price is of no concern here.
Okay.
Because my choice is kind of expensive, not crazy expensive, but Woodford Reserve Batch Proof.
Ooh.
I had picked up a Woodford Reserve Batch Proof, and frankly, I wasn't too happy with it.
As it goes with Woodford Batch Proofs. I had the first one, and I was like, no. I handed it off to shout out to Scott from My Bourbon Journey. I gave it to him.
Cool.
So anyway,
I felt like I'm not sure if I don't think there's an age statement on Woodford Reserve Batch Proofs, but it tasted, I had higher expectations for age and less youthy heat. So anyway, I took my Woodford Reserve and I turned it into the go-to primo old fashions. And a chocolate note came out really well. So I think Woodford Reserve Batch Proof makes a fantastic old fashioned because with a whole bunch of sugar added and with a little bit of bitters added, it comes out a really sweet chocolate whiskey flavor that I really, really enjoyed.
I love that. I thought you said like I took that whiskey and I was like, and I took that whiskey and shoved it up their butt or something like that. But mine's simple. This is as simple as it gets. It's what
Eagle
I
Rare.
put in every old fashioned. No, actually, Buffalo Trace.
I was gonna say Buffalo Trace.
Love a Buffalo Trace old fashioned.
Wait, you picked Buffalo Trace last week.
Doesn't even matter because it's fantastic. Some days I'm like, is Buffalo Trace even better than Eagle Rare? Sometimes it is. I don't know. I love Buffalo Trace, and I think it is the perfect price. Even though price is not an option, I think it's the perfect price sweetness ratio to put in an old fashioned. So Buffalo Trace every day. So next week, I would love to put it up to a 2-pick Tuesday, but we are going to be actually reviewing Sentinel Batch 2 from Del Bac. Sorry to decide for you, but the decision's been made for you. So that's what we got this next week. Keep an eye out. Bryan will be back, and unless he quits after this episode.
Right.
And I'll have to find someone else. But I got it right here. We're going to be drinking Batch 2. Bryan, is it still at Total Wine?
It is still it's at Total Wine, it's at Trevor's, it's at everywhere. I'm gonna
buy
go grab
you a
one.
bottle.
It's only $40. It's a Mesquite.
Do you have Batch 1?
No, actually I finished my Batch 1.
Oh, so I still got some Batch 1, so I'll entry buzz on Batch 1 next week so I can see if there's any differences.
I might entry on Ode to Isla, but it's so smoky it might kill my palate. I'll probably just do an MGP rye.
Oh, that's a good idea. And before I finish this out, I do want to say that my wife is going to be super upset because this episode went really long, and she has. So I'm going to say this: my wife has an opinion of you, Bryan, already.
He gets him to talk.
Is that guy that goes really long on those episodes?
Yes. Boom! All y'all on your commutes to work right now, I know you love me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you.
But my wife will have opinions tonight, but I hope she doesn't. I hope she's able to realize that length can sometimes mean jiviness.
Yeah, well,
So,
I
yeah.
hope I have the ability to rein it in next week and maybe not talk so much because I need a more
No.
neutral opinion here. If we're gonna do a chill filtered trip to Disney
Mhm.
World here where we have a big Disney World meetup,
Ooh, yeah.
get
That's
on your
gonna
wife's
happen
good side
too.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you guys pay, we'll be there. So,
Oh yeah, easy,
but
no
I hope
problem.
my wife can understand. And but most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of spirits lifted your whiskey. No, let's start over. Our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.
Man, I thought of something mid dealio that
Hmm.
was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask. Oh, it was like a Patreon question or something like
Hmm.
that. Dang, I'll remember
Butt
mid
chugging.
episode when I yeah, right. Do I have to do that too? I ain't making any promises. All right.
I'm gonna add that to the end of the episode.